Dc76, the sacred song of the Diva. Soul-touching and life-enhancing stories. The sacred song of the Diva. In a distant universe, there was a planet called Kilema. The most beautiful area on this planet was near the Blue Mountains, who rose up to the sky. Their tops, covered in violet-colored snow, with many glaciers, created little violet-colored water streams running down from the Blue Mountains into the yellow-colored valley below, which was a paradise of flowers and butterflies. In this valley, everything was growing in abundance, and there was never a shortage of food. In the middle of this paradise there was a beautiful old-fashioned village. The houses were made from the stones from the Blue Mountains and spread out through the entire valley, but placed in such a way that it created a circle. This valley and their houses were occupied by a tribe which was called the Singing Divas. The Diva's life was devoted to working on the lands and singing. In the middle of the circle stood an enormous tent called a shamiana, made from cloth with beautiful designs. The history of the shamiana dated back to the Mughalian area. Inside this tent, on the north side, was a high stage erected, but used every morning to listen to the sacred song of the Diva. The main Diva in charge was called Nova, and had the most beautiful voice in existence. The other Divas were in charge of cultivating the land and studying singing under her guidance. Nova's body, just like all the other Divas, was of the color green and shaped like a flowing rope. Her hair, which was no hair, were fine golden tubes coming from her head and re-entering on different places on the back of her body. Her golden shiny heart was located in her skull, and the golden-colored blood was running through these tubes, feeding every part of her body. Every morning, Nova would perform in public, and many other Divas, but also visiting people, would attend her performance. Some people came once a year, as they would have to travel from far-away places on the planet, and others who lived close had the opportunity to come as often as they wanted. On top of the stage was a huge round white pillow where Nova would sit, and small white round pillows were distributed for the visitors sitting, protected in the shade of the enormous tent. On some days the crowd which came to listen increased to over 500,000 people, and the amazing thing was that everything was so peaceful, and no police or security guards were needed. This place was so peaceful that you could even taste, feel, and see the peace. Every guest who came to visit, some were having arguments with one another or confused with themselves, would change into the most peaceful people once they set foot in the valley. In the early morning, the visitors were slowly arriving and were assisted by the other Divas in finding their seat. Other Divas had been preparing meals all night long to serve the next day's visitors. Left and right from the stage, other Divas were sitting and softly singing beautiful songs of devotions as the visitors were finding their place. This morning, like any other morning, after everybody was seated, Nova stepped on stage and took her place on the big white pillow. Her exceptional loving eyes made contact with every person in the crowd, even with the ones who were sitting in the farthest corners, and everyone was gazing back at her eyes. After some time, the other divas stopped singing, and Nova started her performance. The spectators became completely silent, and even the animals in nature seemed to become quiet on hearing her voice. Without a break, Nova sang for hours without the need of a microphone and speakers, because her voice was so powerful that everyone in the entire valley could hear it. During this performance, an atmosphere of total contentment and inner happiness was created, and it seemed as if everyone was going in a trance of peace and being totally absorbed by the divine sounds coming from Nova. Close to the end of the performance, something really extraordinary always happened. Nova's body changed as if by magic into a large lotus flower with countless colorful lotus petals. Then countless colorful butterflies came out of Nova's eyes, who carried the lotus petals over the entire crowd. After the lotus petals were in the air over the entire crowd, the butterflies flew back into Nova's eyes, and the petals came down like snow. And there were so many petals that everybody in the crowd was sitting in petals up to their waist. For the people in the crowd it felt like bathing in the nectar of love. Tears would stream from people's eyes. Here and there people fainted who could not handle the intensity of the beauty and love vibrating through their entire body. Then, after the last stone, Nova's body reappeared, after which she stood up, bowed to the crowd, and left the stage. Everybody sighed and kept on staring as the diva left the stage. Everybody started to collect as many petals as they could take home. These petals were very tasteful and were called the foods from the heavens. They were a gift and reminder of the peaceful and beautiful performance of Nova. After the performance, many visitors asked for interviews and inquired about the technique and the techniques to learn to sing the way she did. Returning to their homes, the visitors were to practice the singing, and arriving at their homes they would try to practice the singing techniques and her sacred song as much as possible during the day. Without really speaking about it, everyone had the same experience. The more you sang her sacred song and stayed in the remembrance of her eyes, the more content and meaningful one's life became. Challenges and pain that normally felt unbearable were gone through with a deeper understanding and with less friction, and one felt like being carried through the adventure of life by her sacred song. Anybody who came to know about this special diva and who had the chance to go and visit or go back to the valley would take the opportunity to hear the incredible performance of Nova, the singing diva, and her sacred song. Who wouldn't? What the story could bring us. Our physical body is made from 5 building stones or elements: ether, air, fire, water, and earth, further manifesting themselves into muscles and bones and organs and skin. Our true self, which is a spiritual being, exists out of pure everlasting light and everlasting sound. The light we see with our physical eyes and the sounds and music we hear with our physical ears are just a fragment of the light and the sound of what we ourselves truly are. This everlasting melody of love, which created and sustains life, is inside all of us. To get in contact with the source of love, we must find guidance and go the inward journey.